2 million, 3 million, $10,000 to 3 million in a little bit less than a year. 5 million. What's going on? This is Travis from Expert Advisor Reviews, and in this video we have a good one. I've been waiting to be able to test this one for a very long time, and we're actually going to end up doing it today after both Bonnitta EA from MT5. Being able to take a look and see if it's a hit or if it's a miss, if it's worth the $5,000 price tag that they actually end up having on it, and being able to see if it will end up working for you in prop firm challenges, will it be able to work for you in live trading, and see obviously if the value is worth being able to invest into it and being able to use it for the long term. So let's go ahead and get into the video. Let's go ahead and test this new Expert Advisor. As we go through and test this video, if I provide value for you, please make sure that you end up clicking on that like and subscribe button. My name is Travis. What we end up doing here is being able to take a look at some of the expert advisors that they actually end up having on the MQL5 marketplace. We end up taking a look at MetaTrader 5 platforms, MetaTrader 4 platforms, end up taking a look at some of the more popular ones, take a look at some of the ones that do need a little bit more recognition, be able to do our own unbiased review based off of the information and things that they actually end up having on the page. And then from there, what we end up doing is being able to rate it, being able to see if it is a hit or a miss, and how well does it stack up against all of the other expert advisors that are on this overall platform. If you're interested in being able to purchase this one, there'll be a QR code on the thumbnail of the actual video, and sometimes you end up seeing the QR code in the actual links in the overall description. And like always, while you end up going through that, take a look at some of the other EAs that we end up having on the platform. You can be able to take a look at it in this playlist that I'm getting ready to place on the screen, and also be able to take a look at what I end up having as well, which is the Skywalker EA, one of the EAs that we actually end up having a Black Friday sale on, as you take a look at when it comes down to this page, which will end up being in the description as well. So let's go ahead and take a look at it. The Bonnitta EA MT5, I'm sorry if I end up saying that wrong to the person that actually ended up developing this, but it's done being downloaded over 2,500 times, and the overall price tag is $5 grand. And if you're really being honest, it seems like it's worth it because it's gonna have 8 purchases already per month. So you're talking about a pretty hefty penny when it comes down to being able to use it. So people must believe in what's happening. Now, with this being said, let's take a look at it. The Bonnitta EA was tested and successfully passed the stress test of slippage and commission approximate to real market conditions with 99 tick quality over the period of 22 years. It contains an algorithm of statistics, collections, and slippage control. Okay, and let's see, it controls the quality of the broker execution before placing the order. Also has successfully passed strict criteria in terms of historical data as we end up going through with it. It has a real account and a signals account to be able to go from there. Let's see. What does this work off of? Oh, okay. So it works off of Euro United States dollar and pound United States dollar based off of the hour. Set files will end up being provided. You take a look at it. It has a limited number of buyers, so that means that not everybody can be able to use it. And the recommended deposit is $1,000 with a 0.01 lot size. And for 5 pairs, you can be able to do 2 pairs at the same time. And then after that, it's saying basically due to the overall market conditions that they should use a conservative option. But obviously, that's with anybody when it comes down to being able to trade it. So if you end up taking a look at it, on this overall screenshot, it's done over 369%. Overall profit trades right around 71. Has its own dedicated video that you can be able to take a look at it from there. And then after that, you can be able to go through the growth, and you can see based off of the screenshot up to 2022 from February, you see that it had a 369% growth over time, and being able to go from there. I have the MyFX book, I believe, that you could be able to go through, and then obviously you could be able to take a look at the overall real account and signals page that you can be able to go through and see that the updated number is at 852%. So initial deposit was at $1,000 currently right now. The overall profit that has happened has been right around $6,700, which is very good. You see that when it comes down to overall months, it has not had a down month. So that's very important to be able to take a look at it. Obviously, any system will probably end up taking trades, but it has not had a down month overall, which I think will excite anybody when it comes down to being able to take a look at that overall. But you can see that most of the trades is in and out for the overall entries and exits, which means that I think that it has a little bit more of a scalping type of behavior when it comes down to the system. But let's not waste any time. Let's go ahead and download it. Let's see what it looks like. And then after that, we'll go from there. Get ready to click on the free demo. You're going to download it real quick. And bam, there it is. As we go through and we take a look at it, we're going to pull up the actual indicator and go ahead and take a see what it does, how well it does, and everything goes. So it said Euro United States dollar for the hour time frame. We'll take a look at it based off the H1. We're going to do this based off of January 3rd to where we are today, which is going to end up being November 25th. And we're going to keep it on visual mode so we can be able to see it. But let's pull up all of this information and see what they actually have to go with it. So talks about the overall lot size, 0.01. So it's based off of an account that we end up having. And by the way, we're starting off with a $10,000 account. Let's see. Has conservative options, a instant open, take profit percentage, low percentage. It basically has enabled trading, a trailing stop percent, a max monthly profit. It's actually set up on this one, but it's set up for 0.00. So obviously that would help out for a prop firm challenge, depending on how much percentage that you're actually trying to go for. So if you're trying to go after 10% and you want the system to shut down at 11% to ensure that you end up having that win, then you can basically be able to do it like that. It has a news filter, just like with anything. It has low news, middle news, and high news. So it goes with low impact and medium impact and high impact. Typically, when I end up doing something like that, I like to be able to have high impact news and just truly focus in on after that. And then after that, it has certain URL codes that you can be able to take a look at, or certain URL codes that are actually placed in that will allow you to be able to use the news to be able to help you out for staying away from trades, not necessarily getting into trades, but really kind of staying away. All right. So with that being said, it's time to be able to test. Let's go ahead and take a look at it. I'm going to set up my screen and be able to go from there. I'm going to click on pause, and then after that, we get started with the video. Okay, here we go. Like always, I'm going to take myself off of the screen. And what you end up seeing to your left will actually end up being the back test. To your right will actually end up being the graph, so you can see exactly where you started. There's a $10,000 account starting off. Obviously, we're doing this from January 3rd to November 25th at this particular point in time. And we're going to go ahead and click on play and see how well it works. I'm going to slow this down just a little bit so I can be able to get an idea. And there we go. Off and running we are. Okay, so taking a look at it. There are certain entries that it's taking at this particular point that I'm trying to be able to understand why. Obviously, it has a grid function to it, but it's kind of like a grid function once you end up having the correct parameters or setups that you're looking for when it comes down to being able to have an entry. We can see that happening right now where the stop loss is not necessarily shown, or the take profit is not necessarily shown, but you can see that the trail stop and everything else is going on for that overall limit. I'm going to go full screen on this one, and we'll come back to the overall graph and see how well it works, so we can get a better idea of being able to see what's actually going on. See if I can speed up a little bit as well. Okay, so one of the first things that I end up noticing is that obviously is trading with the overall trend. And if we put let's say we put a moving average there, we'll probably end up seeing what the trend would actually end up being. Obviously, we know that it's pretty much bearish, and going based off of this previous data, we know that the Euro United States dollar was bearish pretty much the whole year. But now we start to see that buy trades are actually starting to be able to kick in. And it's seeming like what's happening is that as the system is taking in a trade, it locates the actual natural support and resistances from there. And then once you end up having that go, you end up having, it seems like there's a little bit of a grid that may end up getting placed in right inside of that overall range of your support and natural resistance that you can be able to go into. Sometimes seeing a little bit of mean reversion, meaning that the market just basically kind of retracing a little bit, and kind of like what I'm looking at right here, is taking entries right at the resistance price, and then after that having certain orders somewhat in the middle of that overall area that's trying to get filled in as well. Now, drawdown could end up being a problem depending on your overall account size. So I would say that when it comes down to this one, I would definitely look at being able to have a larger account size. Obviously, I think it could be set up to where you could be able to work on any account size with it. It said that it had a minimum of $1,000 as the overall account size that you can start off with. But anytime that you know that you're going to end up taking this many trades, there's probably going to be a situation to where you have to be able to, one, understand that you're going to end up being placed in drawdown, but two, also know that you may have to be able to keep on placing in funds at the beginning to allow the equity curve to keep on going up before really being able to see the true profit of this. So there are different pending orders. I'm going to pause this real quick and take a look at the overall orders of where it actually is real quick and kind of get a better idea. So if we take a look at it right now, we can see that there are currently right now there's sales that are being placed in. Let's see. Most of these sales are pretty much in the same place. If you look at them, it's basically 2 points or 2 pips off on each and every one. And for the overall take profit, I'm pretty sure it has some aggressive trail stop that's actually placed in when it comes down to that movement overall. Let's see, move this up just a little bit. Okay, so I'm going to speed this up, and then after that, we'll go ahead and go through and give our overall opinion. Gonna let this rock so everybody can be able to see it. So I had to pause the video for a quick second. Wanted to make sure that I end up kind of speeding up because the video is going to end up being a little bit longer than expected if I did not. Currently right now, I'm still in the back test as we go through and being able to take a look at it. But remember, the starting account was right around 10,000. Currently, the market that we're looking at right now is at $1.4 billion. So once again, this system is very impressive. But I will give my full detailed thought process once the back testing is over with and we talk about the numbers. $2 million, $3 million, $10,000 to $3 million, and a little bit less than a year. $5 million. So we are back. It is finally done. It has literally been, I want to say, about an hour of being able to go through this back test and being able to see what the numbers are, but the numbers are very impressive. You take a look at it. We're about to go into the full back test and be able to open it up and take a look at it from there. Started off at 10,000, ended up going up to 10 million, almost 11 million when it came down to the overall gross profit. Now, the biggest things that we always take a look at when it comes down to all of these EAs are very simple. We take a look at the profit factor. Is it above 1.5? Yes, it is. We got a 3.5 when it comes down to that. So essentially what that means is for every $100 that you end up risking, you end up making $350 based off of it. Somewhere around there when it comes down to that number. Now, the other things that I always want to be able to take a look at is what's happening with the balance drawdown. The balance drawdown was 12%. Not bad. The equity drawdown was 52%. And if you end up taking a look at some of these things when they end up happening on the graph, we can see that there are certain situations to where you end up losing a significant amount, or basically if you would have exited out of the trade, you could have lost a significant amount when it came down to how much you was actually spent. That was the only thing that kind of caught me off guard. But when you're going after, I guess when you have that many trades that you could be able to take at one time, and obviously using it as kind of like a grid-like type factor, you have to be able to be willing to be able to take some of that risk. But largest profit was 151,000. Largest loss was 178,000. Average profit was 2,900. Average loss was 91. But here's the major difference when you end up looking at those numbers, because you think that you'll probably be scared about that. But I think that's actually a pretty cool thing, that your consecutive wins was at 219 compared to 19. And when you end up having that be a situation that, okay, well, you end up winning, you're going to end up having a little bit more exposed risk. But when you do win, you're going to end up having a better chance of being able to win consecutively. And be able to grow up the account, be able to take some money out of the account if you really wanted to, and then after that, still be able to ride out that overall growth rate. I think it's cool to be able to say that you have that for the overall number. So let's talk about it. Would I recommend this? Absolutely. I'll end up recommending this for more long-term trading and everything else like that. From a prop firm challenge, I think that some of the settings will have to be tweaked in there. Obviously, we took a look at the parameters a little bit earlier. But some things will have to be tweaked to be able to get to that overall gain that you have to be able to do, whether if it's 10% or whatever may be the case. Obviously, the maximum drawdown, I did not see something when it came down to that. But obviously, we end up taking a look at your overall percentage points that you was trying to be able to get inside of the parameters. So overall, this is the one that has won the most money out of all of the EAs that we end up taking a look at. So it's almost like I have to be able to give it a 10, but there's still some things that when looking at it, I'll almost be like, okay, well, that's kind of a little bit of a drawback. I think more of it is, or I guess the success rate of you on this system is really more tied into obviously the account size that you end up having. And then once you end up having the account size to a stable growth area, then after that, the system will do everything else that it needs to be able to grow it. So ultimately, yes, I will end up recommending this to people. Obviously, there's a lot of people that have already done downloaded, or a lot of people have already done purchased it. I think it'll work. I think it'll work well, tweaked a little bit when it comes down to The prop firm challenges, obviously, that'll be the settings that you would need to be able to place in to be able to succeed in whatever amount that you're actually doing with the challenge. But overall, yes, I mean, this is first 10 we're going to end up giving out. Once again, we end up having a QR link in the description. You end up having a link to where you can be able to purchase it and be able to go from there and do your own research. But it was a good one. It took a long time to be able to get to finish the overall back testing, but at the same time, if you're telling me $11 million return based off of $10,000 in a year, then yeah, you got to wait a little bit. So here we go. We'll see you in the next video as my kids are screaming in the background. And we'll go ahead and go through another expert advisor review. Everybody, take it easy.